Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Streamline English. I hope you are having a peaceful day. Find a soft, quiet place and let yourself settle. Breathe in slowly and gently out. There is nothing to do tonight but listen. You don't need to understand every word. Let the story move gently, like a quiet walk at dawn. Imagine a small, thin, gentle man. He wears simple clothes, just plain cloth that he made himself. He owns almost nothing. He carries no weapon. He has no army, no money, no palace. He speaks softly. He is in every outward way one of the least powerful-looking people you could imagine. And now, imagine that this gentle, quiet man stands up against one of the largest and most powerful empires that has ever existed on Earth. He does not fight it with guns or armies. He fights it with patience, with truth, and with peace. And, astonishingly, he wins. He helps to free his entire nation, hundreds of millions of people, without ever raising a weapon. How is this possible? How can gentleness defeat an empire? How can a single quiet man, with no army at all, change the course of history through peace alone? His name was Mohandas Gandhi, though the world came to call him Mahatma, which means great soul, and this is his story. If you enjoy learning English through gentle, true stories like this, please subscribe to Streamline English. It helps us keep these calm stories coming. Thank you, my friend. Our story begins in the year 1869 in India. A baby boy was born into an ordinary family in a town by the sea. They named him Mohandas, and here is something that surprises many people. As a child, Mohandas showed no signs of future greatness at all. He was not a brilliant student. He was not a bold leader. In fact, he was the opposite. He was extremely shy. He was timid and easily frightened. He was so shy that, the story goes, he would run home from school as soon as lessons ended, afraid to talk to anyone. He was, in short, a gentle, fearful, ordinary boy. If you had met him then, you would never have guessed that he would one day shake the world. As a young man, Mohandas traveled far from home, all the way to the great city of London, to study law and become a lawyer. It was a frightening journey for a shy young man into a cold and foreign land. He worked hard, and he qualified as a lawyer. But even then, his shyness held him back. When he tried to work as a lawyer, he was so nervous and timid that, the first time he had to speak in a courtroom, he froze, unable to say a word, and had to leave in embarrassment. So you see, Gandhi did not begin as a hero. He began as a shy, uncertain young man who was afraid to even speak in public. But life was about to send him far away, and there something would happen that would awaken the great soul sleeping inside him. As a young lawyer, Gandhi took a job that sent him to South Africa, a land far from his home, and it was there, in South Africa, that the gentle, shy young man was changed forever. In South Africa at that time, people were treated very unequally and unjustly because of the color of their skin and where they came from. And Gandhi, though he was an educated lawyer with a valid ticket, suddenly found himself treated as less than human, simply because of who he was. There is a famous story about one night on a train. Gandhi had bought a proper ticket for a first-class seat, but because of the color of his skin, an official ordered him to leave that seat and move to a worse part of the train. Gandhi refused. He had paid for his seat, and he had every right to it, and so he was thrown off the train, late at night, left alone and cold on a station platform in the dark. As he sat there in the cold darkness, humiliated and angry, Gandhi did a great deal of thinking. He could have responded with hatred. He could have decided to fight injustice with violence and anger. But instead, something deeper awoke in him. He decided that he would fight injustice, yes, but he would fight it in a completely new way. He would resist what was wrong, firmly and bravely, but always without violence and always without hatred. That cold night on the platform was a turning point. The shy boy was gone. In his place, a man of quiet, unshakable courage was being born. Gandhi spent many years developing and practicing his new idea, his new kind of weapon. And it was a weapon unlike any other in history, because it was made entirely of peace. The idea was this: to resist injustice and cruelty firmly, openly, and bravely, but never with violence, to refuse to obey unjust laws, but to do so peacefully, and to accept the punishment without fighting back, without hatred, and without ever harming the other person. Gandhi believed deeply in nonviolence, in ahimsa, the principle of not causing harm to any living thing. Nonviolence means refusing to use force or harm, even when others are harming you. Now, this requires enormous courage, far more courage, in fact, than fighting back. Think about it. It is one thing to strike someone who strikes you. It is much harder to stand firm, peacefully, and to accept blows without striking back while never giving up your cause. Gandhi believed that this kind of peaceful, courageous resistance had a special power. It could touch the conscience of even your opponents. It could show the whole world clearly who was just and who was unjust. And in the end, it could win, not by force, but by the sheer power of truth and moral courage. After many years, Gandhi returned to his homeland of India. And India at that time was ruled by a faraway empire. Hundreds of millions of Indians longed to be free, to govern their own country. And in Gandhi, they found a leader unlike any other, a gentle man who told them that they could win their freedom not through violence and war, but through peaceful resistance, through unity, and through truth. And slowly, this gentle man began to lead one of the largest peaceful movements in the history of the world. There are many famous moments in Gandhi's struggle, but let me tell you about one of the most powerful, because it shows his genius for peaceful resistance. At that time, the ruling empire had made a law about salt, simple salt, which everyone needs to live. The law said that the people of India were not allowed to make their own salt and freely. They were forced to buy it and to pay a tax on it, even though salt could be gathered from the sea. It was an unfair law that burdened even the poorest people. So Gandhi decided to break this law, peacefully, openly, and in front of the whole world. He announced that he would walk to the sea, and there he would make salt himself with his own hands in defiance of the law. And so he set out on foot on a very long journey, many days of walking, covering a great distance, all the way to the coast. He was an older man by now, thin and frail looking, but he walked, step after step, day after day, and as he walked, something wonderful happened. People began to join him. At first a few, then more, then thousands. By the time he reached the sea, an enormous crowd was with him, and the eyes of the entire world were watching. When Gandhi finally reached the shore, he bent down and picked up a small lump of natural salt from the beach, breaking the unjust law with that simple, peaceful act. It was such a small thing, an old man picking up salt, And yet it was like a thunderclap heard around the world. Across India, millions of people followed his example, peacefully breaking the salt law. The message was unmistakable: a whole people standing together, peacefully refusing to accept injustice. Gandhi was arrested and put in prison many times for his peaceful resistance. But prison did not stop him. Each time, his quiet courage only grew, and the movement grew stronger. The gentle man and his peaceful millions could not be defeated by force because they were not using force at all. After many long years of peaceful struggle, the great day finally came. India became a free and independent nation, able to govern itself at last. The dream of hundreds of millions of people had come true, and it had been won, in large part, not through war, but through peaceful resistance led by a gentle man in simple cloth. It was one of the most remarkable achievements in all of human history. But my friend, I must tell you that this great victory was wrapped in deep sorrow, too. As India became free, it was also painfully divided, and there was terrible conflict and suffering between different groups of people. This broke Gandhi's heart. He had always dreamed of a free nation where all people of every religion would live together as brothers and sisters in peace. To see freedom arrive alongside such pain and division grieved him deeply. Even in the moment of triumph, this gentle man was working desperately to bring peace and to stop the violence between his people. And then came the most sorrowful event of all. Gandhi, the great apostle of peace, was killed by a man who hated his message of unity. The gentlest of men was struck down by violence. It was a tragic and heartbreaking end for someone who had given his whole life to nonviolence and love. And yet, his death did not end his influence. If anything, it made the world treasure his message even more. The whole world mourned him, and his ideas lived on more powerfully than ever. Gandhi's life teaches us one of the most powerful lessons in all of history, that gentleness is not the same as weakness, and that peace can be stronger than force. The world often believes that power comes from weapons, from armies, from violence and force. Gandhi proved something different. He proved that a person armed with nothing but truth, courage, and a refusal to hate could stand against the mightiest empire on earth, and could help to change the world. His power did not come from his fists. It came from his unshakable principles and his refusal to abandon them, no matter the cost. He also teaches us about transformation. Remember how he began, a painfully shy, timid, ordinary boy, too frightened to speak in public. He was not born brave. He became brave, slowly, through his choices, through his struggles, through his commitment to something larger than himself. None of us are stuck as the person we are today. We can grow into something far greater. And Gandhi famously taught that if we want to see the world become better, we must begin with ourselves, that we must try to become, in our own lives, the change we wish to see in the world. Real change, he believed, starts not with others, but within each of us. The gentlest person, armed with truth and courage, can be stronger than the most powerful army. So tonight, before you rest, let me share a gentle thought. Remember that Gandhi began as a shy, frightened boy who could not even speak in front of others. If you ever feel too shy, too timid, too ordinary to do something difficult, like speaking a new language out loud in front of others with all its mistakes and stumbles, then remember him. The fear you feel is not a sign that you cannot do it. Gandhi felt that same fear, and he became one of the bravest people in history, not by never being afraid, but by acting with courage despite his fear. So speak your English, even when you are shy. Make your mistakes, even when you are nervous. Each small act of courage makes you a little braver than before. The gentle, quiet effort you make tonight is exactly how ordinary people grow into extraordinary ones, slowly, gently, one brave step at a time. If this story moved you, please give it a like and subscribe to Streamline English. It truly helps us grow. And tell me in the comments, where in your life could gentleness be stronger than anger? Sleep well, be gentle with yourself and others, and have a peaceful day, my friend.